I get into the office, putting my stuff down, and so there was something that I had to go and drop off, right? So I'm driving, and I get to a gas station. This is 8 days after my dad has passed. I get to a gas station. And then as I'm there, a guy comes to my window. So they're putting gas, and a guy comes to my window and goes, newspaper? Like selling a paper. And I start to cry. And the gas attendant is like, are you okay? I'm like, no, just put the gas. And I go and park and I'm shaking. Because the last words I ever heard my dad say was, get me a newspaper. And I am shaking. I'm crying. So I call my sister. She's like, no. She says, no, just stay put. I'm like, no, it's okay. So I compose myself. I drive to where I need to go. I drop off the thing. I go back to the office. So she comes and meets me at the office. And so everybody's like, nah, it's going to be okay. So everybody's like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So, yeah.
For 8 days.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was like, it was in between. From the time that he had died, I cried. But up to that point, it was just like, now everything just kept on rushing. And so what happened was, my sister said, okay, here, get the keys to my house. You can go to my house, and just because there's no one there. So, so I said, okay. So I went to her house. And this is funny enough. There's a guy I know who posted on Facebook today. And he was talking about, I saw him post a few days ago about losing his dad. Then today he posted again something about like missing his father and hugging. So I inboxed him. I said, listen.
Today?
Yeah, today. So I said, can I send me your number? So he sent me his number. So I called him up and I told him this story. And I was sitting in my sister's house now. I'm thinking, what, how could... So I'm asking God, like, you took my dad. Like, you took my father away from me. And then at that moment, I heard God say this. He said, you didn't lose your father. He said, I am your father. Every good thing that you saw in him was me loving you through him. And I realized at that point that the goodness of God was working through my father. But the image that I was seeing was him. But it was still God at work during the whole time. And he's like, I've never left. I've always been your father. And it taught me in a huge, message in terms of handling loss from great people, because it's the people that really are amazing that leave a bigger hole in our lives. And it just shows the impact of how much this person allowed God to flow through them. The more you're open to God to work through you, to love people, the more people will miss that presence. And the question is like that question, who's gonna fill that void? And God says, I'm still there. And
It was always me.
It was always me. And I remember many years before that, like in 2006 or 7, my pastor did a message called Knowing God as Your Father. And he said, you should do a song about this. And I just sat on that, but there was a melody that was in my head from that time. As like, and it was, I always felt like, I'm going to write a song. Then the following year, it was his birthday. So, and usually every birthday of his, June 20th, I mostly cry in bed. Like sometimes it doesn't happen. And so I'm crying as I'm listening to a song called River by Emily Sunday. And so then I get up, and then I just took a paper and a pen, and that's when I just started writing. So the mystery revealed through love and sacrifice, not of my own but of the Son. And that was when I wrote Father's Child. The mystery revealed through love and sacrifice, not of my own, but of the Son. He came to me in peace and held me in his arms and said, today I found true love. He said, today I found true love. So it has been since then. I've been my Father's child when I received his Son in me. Down at his feet is not where I am found to be, but on a seat right by his side. But on a seat right by his side. Ooh, for I have tasted grace so sweet I can't let go. Once an awful mess, now pure. And what can separate me from my Father's arms? I will always be my Father's child. I will always be my Father's child. So it has been since then. I've been my Father's child when I received his Son in me. Down at his feet is not where I am found to be, but on a seat right by his side. But on a seat right by his side. So it's not meant to be what we shall be in times to come, but what can be more glorious than to be with our God forever in his arms, and to be called my Father's child, and to be called my Father's child. Yeah, for I have tasted grace so sweet I can't let go. Once an awful mess, now pure. And what can separate me from my Father's arms? I will always be my Father's child.